what that is? Discipline. Selfish.
No joke. We're legitimate.
Then do it. Do it 100%, because I'm trying to.
We recognize that we are limitless.
You gotta be a champion to become a champion, right? Winning is a habit because we create habits that lead to good execution and success.
We make a pretty good air band. Welcome to episode 54 of the Coaches Show. I'm Coach Mike Bianca, and with me, as always, is my friend, Coach Ryan Gray. We have an absolutely jam-packed show tonight as we will discuss the latest offseason changes in the professional league, player moves, and the impact those changes may have to the league in 2025. Then we'll all be joined by our friend Anthony Vitale of BKI, Boston Paintball, Paintball Combine, Team USA Paintball, and that's just his afternoon on a Tuesday, all right? So he's going to come in and discuss the WNXL and the 2024. Goodness gracious, Ryan. All right, not enough caffeine. WNXL champions, the Heroines, and maybe some cool new ideas coming the BKI way. After that, we'll be joined by Rich Adickes, the head coach of the WNXL's very own Dallas Vibe. He'll discuss the team as well as break down their finals match against the Heroines at World Cup. But wait, there's more. We are waiting for some breaking news from Major League Paintball. That's right. Stay tuned as they promised to send us this announcement before the end of our show tonight. So you won't want to miss that. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Maxed Sportswear. For all your custom paintball goods, get Maxed. New Coaches Show apparel is available now. And BKI, the best knowledge in paintball. That's BKI.com. Use the code COACHSHOW. The next Coaches Clinic will be February 1st at the Paintball Combine. Perhaps we'll talk to Anthony about that. Sign up and clinic information will be released as soon as possible. If you're watching us on Facebook, please send stars to help support the content. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and leave comments. My goodness gracious, this offseason does not disappoint. It continues to be, as I called it, a Stanley Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove movie. The moves are just incredible, Ryan. Goodness gracious. You want to walk through what we confirmed last show, and then we'll hop into what happened since the last show?
Yeah, well, we can kind of start with, and I apologize, guys. I played an ICPL this weekend, and I
won,
and did win. So that was a super fun experience. Got to play with a bunch of old Texas Storm guys. Literally one guy is 72 years old that played on the team. No expectation to win, and went in and won the thing. So had a ton of fun getting to play with a bunch of old friends. But I was screaming all weekend, so I apologize. My voice is not awesome tonight. Just kind of touch on two things really quick. One, actually, the clinic sign up for the combine is in the comments. So you can click that link right next to sign up for the Combine Coach Clinic, and it's right there. Keep in mind the description on the product. Mike and I are still working out all the curriculum. Excuse me. We just got this set up within the last 10 days, so we're really trying to rush kind of putting this stuff together, and we want it to be really good. So the things that you'll see inside of the product description, those we're going to add to that, right? So it's not just going to be how to effectively run a tryout. We're also going to get into some culture things. We're going to get into some practice and preparation things. So, but I apologize again. It's not done yet, but I promise you, we are working on that. So, but the sign up link won't change even as it gets updated. So you're welcome to use that link to sign up for the clinic. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a lot of opportunity. Big classroom setting, and I think we're going to have 5 hours to work with, where our normal clinic with the NXL is only 2 hours. So it's going to be jam-packed, full of information. I believe we're going to provide a lunch. Of course, everybody gets a free Coaches Show BKI shirt. So that's going to be really neat. Working on that with Charles from Max Sportswear right now. It's going to be a ton of fun. And then the second thing, to confirm again, and we did confirm this on the show, now being confirmed by Major League Paintball, Axel Gaudin for sure has left San Antonio X Factor and will be playing with Tauntaun at FSU in America. Again, that's not really new news, again, because we said it last week. You want to take over now just so I'm not running my – thank you.
I got you, brother. So, hey, look, we're going to hop into these. There's a lot of hot stuff off the press, and I really don't know where to start. A lot of dominoes fell this week. We'll start with the fact that the latest announcement, Archie Montemayor leaves San Diego Dynasty and rejoins X Factor. Huge move. Now, before that, right, let's back up a little bit. Kyle Berry has left the Miami Kings, ML Kings, and has gone to Dynasty. Another really good pickup here, Jared Lackey leaves Tampa Bay Damage and moves to AC Diesel. Back in the Dynasty camp, Kevin Brettauer leaves San Diego Dynasty and joins Tampa Bay Damage as head coach. Blast Camp sells their spot to the Royal City Sea Dogs, and Jackson Frey, Dope, I can never pronounce his last name, and Cody LaPapa, okay, thank you, join Houston Heat. Now, on the Heat front, Konstantin Fedorov leaves Houston Heat and will join. There's rumors out there. Miami Kings, ML Kings rebrand as New York Extreme. There's a lot of confusion around that. New York Extreme was relegated. The owner, Bo Milo, has purchased the Kings spot, and they are simply rebranding as New York Extreme. And then there's one other really exciting news. This is one of those situations, and we'll get into all these different things. We'll walk back down this and go over what these things mean and what that impact might be. But there's one other announcement that I'm excited about that I think will break here on the show right now. And this is one of those times I wish I had like the horns and all that stuff, the people with the confettis and all this really cool things. Ryan, how do you want to do this? You want me to throw this off, or do you want to deliver the message?
No, I'll just share it. So, my plan for this season was to take the year off because I really wanted to get back into player development. And luckily, I've been provided an opportunity to do just that with a great professional organization, maybe one of the most professionally run organizations in professional paintball. Monday before Thanksgiving, got a kind of a wild message out of nowhere from a captain of a team. Spoke to the owner Tuesday night, then spoke to the captain again on Friday. And it's been kind of an ongoing process. But as of last night, I've joined the coaching staff of Red Legion.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news right here on the Coaches Show. Ryan Gray joins the coaching staff of Red Legion, an absolute dominant force this past season in the professional division. And I couldn't be happier for you, man. I'm so stoked for that. Such a good fit. It just makes so much sense.
Thank you, man. Yeah, very exciting. And again, it was one of those things that kind of came about really organically. And I'll just say it here. There was only one team that I would really have been willing to coach in America this season, and that would have been Wrecking Crew, only because I love their culture. And I didn't tell anyone that, because if it was going to happen, I really wanted it to happen organically. But because that team didn't reach out, I, really was planning on taking the year off, was pretty actually excited about taking the year off and working with some divisional teams, which I'm still going to have an opportunity to work with some divisional teams. So I'm really excited about that. My role with Red Legion will, again, kind of flow around player development, kind of the whole role, even my role at the events, which Alexis and I still have to get worked out, will be mostly around tracking our guys and really focusing on getting that second group up to the place that they need to be in order to really be able to provide support where the team is not just the starting five. So really, really excited about the opportunity. If you live around Tampa, I will be there quite a bit this year. I'm going to spend about 7 weeks in Tampa this year coaching those guys. So really, really excited, incredibly grateful, and honestly very humbled to have even been asked. It's been kind of a dream as a coach to see behind the curtain of Red Legion and what goes on there, and to have that opportunity is very exciting, and ready to take on the task. So
I'm super stoked for you. Everybody in the comments is super stoked for you. Hey guys, give him some love, a round of applause in the comments, because this is really cool. Ryan, as a fan and as your friend, I'm stoked for you, brother. I couldn't be happier for you. And I think you being in player development and in that role with the Red Legion is exact. It's just a dream come true, man. I'm happy.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Congratulations. Yeah,
very exciting.
It's great.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
I love it.
Let's really quickly just kind of we'll briefly talk about like maybe how some of these moves are going to impact these teams in the league as a whole, and then we'll get Anthony in here and jump into some combine stuff. And I'll just give my take really fast, and then I'll shut up so people don't have to listen to me rasp and cough. I think the X Factor, the Archie thing going to X Factor, and I put that first just because I think from a loss gain perspective, it's the biggest move, right? So another kind of starter loss for San Diego Dynasty, who's already lost a couple of starters, kind of creates a hole. But again, we talked about this on our last show. You know, you got Blake Yarber, Yosh, who can kind of fit into that 3 role kind of that's vacated by Marcelo Margot. I think Harrison Fry fits really well on the Dorito side. He did that role on Infamous really well. I know he's been more of a snake attacker for Dynasty in the last season or two, but I do think Harrison fits in really well on the Dorito side, and I think he'll do a great job there. You know, the 2 on the snake side, Brian's kind of done that a lot. So again, it's a big loss. You can't replace an Archie Montemayor. And on the other side of that, X Factor, you know, they lose Axel, but then gain Archie. It's really kind of a wash, right? Different attack style, right? Different play style. But the reality is, again, I don't want to say it's like an even trade, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Yeah. Kyle Berry, adding him to the roster with Dynasty deepens it, right? It deepens it. And I think it'll be interesting for Kyle to be in a situation where he doesn't have to be it. I felt like on the Kings, he maybe had to be in that 2-3 role, whereas now with Dynasty, he doesn't. He can free flow around a little bit more, kind of let loose a little bit, and be allowed to be a little more creative. I like the Jared Lackey move to AC Diesel, but I hope Jared really just gets back to work. You know, I felt like on Tampa Bay Damage the last couple of seasons, he's maybe regressed a little bit. I hope we can see him really, really, really get excited. So and I want to share my opinion before I talk about this Blast Camp thing, because first of all, I really wish that the Sea Dogs would have stayed in the semi-pro division. I think 1 more year of seasoning would have been good for them. I do think they'll possibly be okay in the pro division, but I would have liked to have seen them had 1 more year to season, right? 1 more year.
I'm with you in that camp.
Yeah. And the other thing is, as a fan of paintball, and I'm, you know, pretty sophisticated about paintball at this point, you know, 33 years into this thing, but I feel like it gets incredibly confusing to the layman, right? Somebody who's maybe not a sophisticate in our game. We have all these name changes and buy sells and all these things occur. I mean, you know, Christian from In the Pits and I kind of went back and forth a little bit on the page, just simply because it's like, and he made a great point. Tier 5 is completely different this year.
Completely.
It's completely different this year, right? And then also the Blast Camp guys going to Houston Heat. I do think Houston Heat's roster is so good that adding those 3 guys, they're still going to be really good.
100%.
They're still going to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the Fedorov leaving Heat, I don't really know that that's a big loss either. He hasn't really produced a whole lot in the last 2 seasons. I don't think that's a huge loss for them. Now, Soap and Cody LaPapa are great attackers. I think they will fit in very well with the Houston Heat program. And Jackson Frey is a fantastic communicator, shoots well off the break, can be a bully if need be. So, I mean, I like the pickup. I just don't know if it made them better, right? I think they're probably going to still be right where they were, if that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense, and everything you're saying makes a lot. And I'm not gonna sit there and regurgitate everything you said, because I think you and I've talked about this over the week, and we pretty much agree on a lot of these aspects. Especially, I think Jared Lackey is a great pickup for AC Diesel. I do think Kyle Berry is going to be let off the leash a little bit now, and we've seen this with Dynasty, right? People go to that camp, and then all of a sudden they hit a new level. Archie, that does hurt. That just made X Factor that much better. I do like, I like your comments on the Heat. That's a good analysis on the Heat aspect. I'm Constantine, to your point, right? He was such a playmaker, and he probably still very much is. So, it's wherever he does land, they have to figure out how to draw that performance back out of him, because it's there. You know what he's capable of. You've seen what he's capable of. So it's interesting. So.
Yeah. And I think you and I talked about this maybe 2 weeks ago, but like, he just needs to be let go. Let him go. Like, don't give him a job. Let him go be Konstantin Fedorov. Let him go do what made him paintball famous, right? Give him opportunities to go create some havoc. Yeah, and somebody asked the question in the comments, and I didn't answer it earlier because I knew we were going to get there. I hope you're catching from what I'm saying is I don't love the rebrandings. I don't love the sellings. I don't love all the changes. I think in order for our league to be taken seriously, we need to have 20 really good programs, right? And not just teams, but programs, owners, support systems, all those kind of things, so that we don't have these mass changes. When we have mass changes, it kind of dilutes what we're pushing toward, right? It doesn't make it as special to be in that top 20 if you can just buy your way in and we have 3-4 changes every year. So I don't like it. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't like it.
and I'll reiterate this again. I'm, as a fan of the Royal City Sea Dogs, I wish they had spent another season in semi-pro. I think that one more season would have given them, a little bit of that, a little bit more edge. And I believe there might have been an announcement we missed there. Didn't one of them go to the Ironmen? Yes,
we did miss that. I'll look that up. Let's bring Anthony in and get started on the Combine conversation. And then I will. So I'm going to bring him in, let you introduce him. I'm going to jump out for a second and go grab some something from my throat. I'll be right back.
All right.
Hey, hello, sir.
Vitale. How are you, sir? Merry Christmas. Look at that. What a great image behind you. I love it. Deck the halls, baby.
I like it too. I was like, oh, where am I going to go? This is where I'm going to go.
Absolutely. So welcome to the Coach Show.
Mr. Baldwin is the Sea Dog that went to the Ironman.
There it is. Okay. That's right. It's a good pickup. He's a versatile player. He's bringing a work ethic. Something about those Canadians, right? Kind of got
there's a lot of good paintball
40% Canadian now, right?
They are. They got some travel guests, Tom Guest and a group of them all up there now.
That's right. Great program. They look great this past season. Anxious to see what Shane's going to do with them. So let's hop right into this. I'm really excited about the Combine now. I've been a huge fan of BKI and the Combine and what you have been doing with the Paintball Combine and the professors that you've brought in to create, not only give back to that community and teach these great, processes to these up and coming divisional players, but creating Team USA, drawing Team USA from the Combine. So what is the point of the Combine? In your own words, what is the point of the Paintball BKI Combine?
So it's really just an ultimate showcase of talent. And we're trying to bring that to one place, not only for the players to showcase themselves, but to have coaches like yourselves be able to attend, hopefully locally too. We are going back to Texas. The talent in Texas is very robust. We got some real diamonds in the rough last year come out and make the squad. There's a lot of young talent that did come out to the tryout that I'm excited to see what another year under their belt looks like for them. We've got some hopefuls in all the U16, U19, but it's really a showcase. It's not much of a clinic. The professors are there and they'll give them some tutoring as they see some small tweaks, but it's not going to be anything major. You're there right now to showcase and and perform under the drills, especially in that first day. And then after that, you're going to be put to the test with some coaching and a mock tournament. So it's 2 days of kind of seeing where you as a player stand with your peers, as well as having that tryout look that everybody needs to kind of, it's like a job interview, right? You got to kind of do it a few times to get really good at it. And the more you do it, the better you will get at showcasing, because you can have a bad day, you can have a bad interview at a job and not land the job because of it. And to perform under pressure when it means the most is a skill that you acquire over time.
Yeah, sir.
What a great explanation, a showcase. This is not a clinic. It's like a job interview, right? Hey, show out, right? Let's come out here, show us what you can do. And then that's going to determine your fate. You determine your fate on what happens past that. I think that's fantastic. Ryan, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we, because it is a showcase, and I love the way that you describe that, especially also with the job interview part, because that's really important to understand. You're not always you're going to be told no sometimes, unfortunately, young people. You're going to be told no. They do get a little coaching, right? On Sunday when they're playing the tournament, they'll get some guidance. They'll get to understand a little bit about play development from the coaches. There is a little bit there. But from an individual perspective, like if I'm a player who's coming to try out, is there a place I can go, like look at all the drills and start working on those now?
Absolutely. Yeah. They're up on the Combine site. So you can go to paintballcombine.com and you can get those 5 drills, which are, off the break shooting, snake drill, lateral slide, snap shooting, and running and gunning. 5 really fundamental things that you need to be good at. And then on Sunday, there's a lot of intangibles that the coaches see. You're not just fundamentally, you can be fundamentally great, but not have the paintball IQ, the awareness, the reaction time, those things that you can't quantify by just seeing how people close games and how they're a good teammate or a communicator. Those things all come into play. And you guys know this as coaches. Those are the things that you're really looking for, the glue that makes teams and their chemistry really tie together. And those are the things you need when you're on that finals match, or you're in a gold medal match and you're down some points and you need to come back. There's that X factor, that intangible thing about a player that you can only see while watching them perform on the field.
Yeah,
I love it.
Love that.
That's fantastic. So everyone, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard that. If you are going to the Combine, you have intent to go to the Combine, you have no excuse now. You can go to paintballcombine.com, find those 5 drills, and you can work those for the next 2-3 months and be in shape. Now, to Anthony's point, the paintball, remember, this is the weapon, right? So you can get the fundamentals down, but this is ultimately what they're going to be looking at as well. So it's a full package thing. It is a showcase. It's a job interview. So when's the cutoff to apply for the Paintball Combine?
Yeah, so right now registration's open, obviously. The cutoff to have your name on the jersey is December 27th. I think we have about 20 spots left for the Combine before we're full. So it is filling up pretty fast. We're excited. A lot of the usual suspects for professors are going to be there. And like you said, you guys are going to be there. And I'm hoping that I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of the show. I was traveling. So I'm hoping that you said you guys are going to be there and have a clinic, because we're excited as the extra piece to the puzzle there. So we're hoping that we're going to see some local coaches that are interested, because there's such a big talent base in Texas that you can find some diamonds in the rough locally for your programs there as well, which is really one of the pieces that Laurie and I strive to have when we took the Combine National, is to have the coaches and have scouts there that are looking for players, because, every year, especially at this time of the year, you're looking for those extra pieces. You might have lost someone just getting out of paintball. Maybe you lost a player to another team. So you're always looking for talent. And this is someplace, whether you're U16, U19 eligible or not, this is a place where you can showcase for local teams as well. So it's not just for the younger kids for the Combine, at all ages. And again, if you want to kind of see where you stand with other peers, this is a place to do that as well. And to your point, you are going to get some tutelage and coaching on Sunday, from some of the great coaches that this industry has to offer. So we're excited for that.
Yeah. And we did say we will be there. We'll be there February 1st. We're really looking forward to it. We're excited about the opportunity, Anthony. You know, you made some comments. You talked about U16, U19. Talk to us about what U.S. teams are picked at the Combine. Maybe give us a breakdown on that.
Yeah, sure. 2 of the 5 squads, the U16 and U19, are definitely picked from the Combine. So what we do is Marcelo, we used to have Marcelo as part of the actual drilling process, and then it really just got overwhelming with so many people trying out that we pulled him out of that, and he is completely scouting the whole 2 days. So, you know, he's making his notes, I'm making my notes, the professors are making their notes, and then each night we get together and kind of figure out where we need to be, looking for the next day. You know, this person might be on the bubble of getting a tryout invite, and maybe not. So then the tryout invite happens. We send out invites to U16 and U19. The tryout this year will probably be in late March. It might even be back in Texas, probably not in Boston where it usually is, just because of the weather. Will probably be someplace warmer. And usually the tryout is later, in late April, early May. And this year we're really trying to get the team honed in earlier. So the tryout's probably going to be in late March this year. That'll give players time to fundraise a little bit more, and also give Marcelo and Kyle Berry and the coaches more time to kind of hone in with the players that are picked. So plus there's so much anxiety with the kids really wanting to know, you know, am I on the team or not on the team? So having that tryout a little closer to the Combine date also helps with the anxiety of the kids. But the other 3 teams, the men's teams and the Masters teams, I mean, we're just so lucky and blessed at this point to be able to have a men's and Masters team that is literally picked from pro players. Or ex-pro players sometimes with the Masters, and then same thing with the women's, with having the WNXL now. We have the privilege to be able to pick teams from pro leagues. So the Combine, while we definitely will see some players that might be Masters eligible, and I am excited to see Hadley from Dallas Vibe. She's going to be there as well. I think she has a legitimate shot to play U16 and on the women's team. So I'm excited to see her at the Combine. So we always had an opportunity with Janaea Curtis, who was first on the Heroines and then on the High Rollers. She was U16 eligible the first year she played WNXL, and I was trying to get her to come out because I think it'd be an awesome experience and definitely rightful to have someone like a Hadley be on a U16 team and potentially on a women's team, because I haven't seen that yet where a female player has been playing on a U16 team, and we're due for it. So
glass ceiling time, right?
She's 14, right?
She was 14 at World Cup. I don't know when her birthday is, but she's certainly U16 eligible. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
Fantastic.
Very cool.
That is awesome.
And I talked to my U16 captain on the way here. So Evan Middleton, we have him for one more year, which is completely crazy to me because he plays at a semi-pro level. It's just not fair. And he played on DMG this past year, semi-pro. To have him play U16 and U19, and for us to have him, this might be our 4th year with Evan. I lose count. Like, he's just so good. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm very excited for all 5 squads. Talked to Marcelo today, and I ask him all the time. I said, "Who's on your wish list this year? You know, what are we wishing for men?" Every year he's like, "I need, this guy. I want this guy." So I got his little wish list. He's putting together his Christmas list, and we're gonna hit the men's team up. And Ryan and Thomas Taylor are doing the same thing on the Masters list. So I'm excited. I'm excited, and I know the challenge of going 3 years in a row for 5 golds is a tall task. And these U16 and U19 kids have already won gold 3 years in a row. So the program's doing well. We got blessings, so I'm happy.
It's an incredible story and it's an exciting thing. And so even if you're not going to come to the combine, or try and support it, right? We talk about growing the sport. This is a great way to do it. I think this is one of the best ways to get things out and get it recognized by perhaps some parents or other kids who may not be that familiar with it. And they can see this representing Team USA over in Europe. It's an exciting time. Tony two's in the house. I don't know what you just did, but I've never even seen that before in my life. So you're going to have to tell me about that sometime, Ryan. But well, let's shift gears a little bit. Ryan, did you have anything else you wanted to add about the combine? I think we've covered a really good amount. So it's February 1st and 2nd. We've got the December 27th, the cutoff. They've only got 20 spots left. So we want to hop in there.
The sign up link is actually in the description of the show. Awesome. So you can literally go right down or up, depending on where you're watching us. If you're on YouTube, it's below. If you're on Facebook, it's above. But you can literally go to the link there. First, sign up for the combine if you want to be a player. Sign up for the clinic if you want to do the clinic. And again, I've had this asked of me several times. You do not have to be participating in the combine to do the clinic. In fact, it would be impossible. So the combine is for the combine, the clinic. It's just a value added piece. We are, and it's great for Mike and I to be able to have a real tangible experience for you as we're talking about things like character and play styles and things that you may want to be looking for as you're navigating through your own tryouts. So you can't do both. You can only do one or the other. So they'll be running concurrently. So yeah, you can't, or simultaneously, you can't do both. So yeah, up or down. You can sign up.
Good clarification.
If I can too, I want to make a selfish pitch here, but I am proud to be partners with John Jackson down in Wastelands in Houston, where we'll be hosted. And John is working like a madman, getting Wastelands in great shape. You know, we added new pits, a tower. He's cleaned up everything. It's going to be in tip-top shape when the combine rolls around. So I want to shout out to my partner, John Jackson from Pro Edge. Wastelands, he's done a great job kind of turning that place around. So we're real excited to be in the Houston area and to be at Wastelands this year.
And a great paintball coach himself.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding.
Great paintball mind. So let's transition to WNXL and the Heroines now. It'll kind of flow us right into our next guest. So first of all, I don't think a lot of people know that you're kind of the guy behind the WNXL, or really the power, because it's not just you. You have a fantastic counterpart that helps you run all this stuff. So you want to talk a little bit about how the WNXL is doing, what Laurie and you see kind of being the future. Is it healthy?
Laurie does an amazing job. She's always, the Heroines are her baby, and she tries to really make that thing as tip top as it can. I mean, our marketing and everything that she does is really great. Some of the videos and the Revo clear release that we did with the Heroines, I thought she did a fantastic job. The whole WNXL owners group, while we do have some changes here and there, the core has done a really good job of trying to make the product as good as possible. The WNXL owners group is solely responsible for the push for the premier field and the webcast on that side of things. So I'm hoping that, some of the semi-pros that are well-deserved are getting the benefits too of the webcast, the better reffing staff, and everything that the premier field brings, the little area on the spectator side with the tent and the having its own bar over there for World Cup. We want to make sure that the WNXL is getting that pro type experience for their players, as well as the semi-pros, because that is the next closest thing to, moving up to that pro field. So having the ability to scout using the webcast and getting the semi-pro teams and used to using that as a tool. So then when they jump into the pro division, it's something that they're already used to. Like, these are all things that we were thinking about when the premier field and WNXL came about. So we're happy that those things are growing. We did a really good job, with sponsorship for the webcast this event, and we had a lot of great support. So I want to thank all the sponsors that did help out with the webcast, and we expect to be at least webcasting event 1, 3, and 5 with Bob from Comp Sports again. and hopefully also events 2 and 4, because I do believe that the semi-pro teams deserve to have that webcast all year long. Hopefully the NXL and WNXL are able to pull that off. If we get real good sponsorship for packages throughout the whole season, which I'm going to be offering to sponsors, and we're putting stuff out. So that is a possibility. But as far as the WNXL, you might see a change coming in one of the teams this offseason. I'll put that out there. Can't really say much more than that until it's finalized. But as far as healthiness, we had 7 amateur teams and 7 amateur 3-man, 3-player teams play World Cup. So I do see growth. We run numbers every year. Chris Rail does a real good job helping us out running the numbers. And I think we had 35% growth again above on. And if you start looking at like PSP numbers, we're like 591% up from when the days of even 10 years ago. So the WNXL is working. The amateur teams are growing. So 100% happy with where we are. And what I'm most happy about is the level of play. If you saw the level of play at the first year of WNXL versus where we are now, there's a lot more parity, and just the level of play in general is high. So, that's what I'm most proud of, is that the women are getting the coaching and the practicing, and they're putting in the work to make the product really, really good. So that's what I'm most happy about.
Okay, you hinted at a change in the division, in the professional division for WNXL. Will all the teams be returning to the WNXL?
That's the one change I think you're going to see, is that there is one franchise that is potentially not coming back, but it's already been possibly filled.
Backfilled? Okay,
cool.
All right.
Yeah. So
that's great.
We will be returning with 10 teams. Just maybe there might be one new one.
I like it. That's exciting. All right.
It is. And you're going to see, while it was a crazy offseason for men's pro, there's been a lot of moving parts on the underneath for WNXL as well. So I think sometime after Christmas, I think you'll see about 6 or 7 moves that have been made on the women's end as well. Some of them pretty big. The Heroines have made one pickup as well that we'll announce either right before or after Christmas. But are you going to have Haley back?
Yes.
We definitely need to get Haley back on the show.
Yes, we're gonna. So actually, I don't want to say I've been lazy. I've been really busy. I've got a plan for 3 European episodes before the first event, and then 3 episodes that will be completely dedicated to WNXL, which will involve Haley quite a bit.
Nice. Yeah, I think Haley knows some of the moves already as well. And if not, I can arm her with a few more. And so you guys can have a whole bunch to talk about when you want to talk about it.
Cool. Yeah, we'd love that. And yeah, we definitely want to have Haley. In fact, I'm working on Clint Moore now that he's not playing. I'm trying to work on him to help again in Europe, especially for the first 2 events. Yeah, and Haley is awesome. So Chris, we're going to actually bring that up with Rich in just a second. So let's kind of talk really quick about before we bring Rich in, you guys had a very interesting World Cup, and it happened before you even got there. So you okay to share that?
I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but I'm an open book.
Well, you almost didn't make it.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Vehicularly.
Yeah, you almost didn't make it to the World Cup.
That's right.
Unfortunately, yeah. Well, fortunately, we had a major wreck, my poor RV that I love so bad. But I will take it because, Laurie wasn't injured too badly, little bumps and bruises. We all walked away. Brad McCurley, pro player and our coach for the Heroines. We were on our way from practice in North Carolina at Paintball Central, where the Heroines had a really good practice. Brad and I just played an awesome round of golf at Tot Hill, and we were like, we're on our way to Savannah Harbor to play another round. And yeah, we had a tractor trailer jump the median and come on our side of the road right at us. And I had to make some evasive maneuvers, and we rolled over a few times and unfortunately totaled my RV. But the fact that we walked away from it was crazy. Like, definitely shouldn't be here. So happy to be here. And yeah, we made World Cup. We actually golfed. We missed golf at Savannah Harbor on Tuesday, but Brad and I did golf on Wednesday morning.
It's understandable.
Yeah, a little sore on Tuesday and needed to get the clubs back from salvage and all the other nonsense that we had to do on Tuesday. But yeah, and then got to World Cup, and the girls performed really well. Brad did great. Vibe had an unbelievable finals as well. I think we gave them a show. And, you know, Danny pulled off. Brad drew up a play that the girls executed to a T. So that was all Brad. And, you know, a 35-second point. A lot of people are like, we're just going to play for overtime. And Brad said, no, we're winning this now. And you had to do it on a lot of fronts, and every player really performed in that play. And, you know, Danny was able to clinch it and hit the buzzer with 1 second left. So it was a really, really cool. If you haven't seen it, you need to go back and watch it, because that was it was textbook. It really was.
It was exciting to watch. That's for sure.
Yep.
It really was
exciting for us. I do, you know, Rich, unbelievable coach. Vibe played really, really well, and they deserve to be in the finals. And it came down to just that one play. So it could have went the other way. If we went to overtime, we would have been ready. I think it would have been a good point regardless. And hats off to Vibe, because their program is really, really good. I think we played 9 events so far, WNXL, and the Heroines have won 5, and the Vibes won 3. So
wow.
And Destiny's won the other one. So while there is parity, we're waiting to see who's going to be the next one to kind of try and knock the Heroines and Vibe off. But I think Vibe's getting better, obviously. I saw in the comments Israeline Burns returning to Vibe. I'm pretty sure she is. Maybe
you can ask the man.
Yeah.
We'll get to ask him here shortly.
Ask him. We can bring him in. Hey, before I bring him in, Mike, you want to check your phone and see if Major League Paintball say anything for the announcement we want to make?
Yeah, stand by.
Just check and see.
Nope, no announcement just yet. I'll text him real quick while you bring him in, and we'll make sure.
Okay, let's bring Rich in.
All right.
Hey guys.
Good evening, my friend.
Hey, what's going on? Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. How's it going?
Hey, buddy.
You're still at work, aren't you?
Yeah.
Good
I'm a
tell.
workaholic. Let's be honest here.
Too funny.
Well, welcome.
Well, I think the question on everyone's
question?
mind is about Raylan Burns. Will Raylan Burns be returning to Vibe?
You know, that's the rumor. I wish I was able to give you guys all the good deets, but unfortunately, I'm not 100% purview to all the pickups and everything yet. So I've kind of just been taking my lickings from Anthony and Brad over in the finals and just rewatching film and coming up with notes for 2025. So, but I wish I could say more, but unfortunately, I don't know. I mean, I've even heard Leslie Curtis is potentially coming back as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Why do I know more about your team than you?
You guys know this better than anybody. I'm a ghost. Nobody knows who I am. I just work behind the scenes and try to get the dubs when needed.
Yeah, well,
that's the way to be, by the way. Just so
I
you know.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate
You'll
it.
You'll do the work, right? And when they get up there, they'll say it was us, and that's what you want, right? You want to be in the shadows. So, I love it.
All right. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for your time this evening. We really appreciate you. We're so excited about the Combine. And again, anybody who's interested, you go to paintballcombine.com. Lots of information there about, in fact, I think there's like 8 tabs filled with information. However, the sign-up link is either at the top or the bottom, depending on where you're watching us. If you are listening to the podcast, it will also be in the description of the show. So you can click that button, get signed up. You have until you said December 27th?
Correct. To have your name on the back of the jersey, yes.
Yep. December the 27th. is the deadline if you want your name on the back of your Combine jersey, which is a really cool thing to have, just to rock as a practice jersey. So if you want that, you need to get signed up. There's only 20 spots left. So the faster we can get it done, probably the better, because it lets Anthony and the team know kind of how many professors to bring, how much stuff to bring. So really important that we get it done quickly. And if you want to do the coaches clinic at the Combine, you can also sign up for that.
And at least 10 of those spots for the 20 are going to go away at Christmas. You watch.
Yep.
Yeah.
You watch.
If you hound T2 in the comments, I bet you he'll put the jersey. He finished one of the jersey mock-ups today. So if you get him in the comments, maybe he'll put the jersey for the Combine up in your comments. You'll be the first to look at the Combine jersey.
Who's that?
Anthony,
T2 was in there earlier.
T2.
I didn't. Yeah.
Call him
Okay.
T2.
Yeah. All righty, guys. Have a good night. Great show
Thank
as
you,
always.
Anthony.
You guys are doing great work. Keep it up.
Greatly
Thank you, buddy.
appreciate it. Take care.
See you, bud.
All right. So your teams and his team battled for the title all season, right?
Yeah.
Quick question for you. Did the World Cup match decide the series championship?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it definitely did. I mean, it was within, I think it was like 6 points or something like that. So with the double points, it came down to the finals match. If we ended up being in first and second, it totally did.
Okay.
Which
Excellent.
I wouldn't want it any other way when you think about it, because of the buildup throughout the season, right? There's 3 events. We won the first one. They won the second one. We were swapping places between, finishing in the top 4. So then that cup with the double points, it just builds it up. And I mean, can't ask for anything more than that.
Yeah, I would agree. I concur. I love that drama, right? That's legitimate competition right there. It comes down to this. So well played. I'm popping up. I keep getting things and they're not what I think they are, Ryan. So I apologize.
No problem. Yeah, that'll be cool when it's time.
Yeah.
It'll be cool when it's time.
So your team finished first at the first event. And the WNXL only plays 3 events, right? They play the first, the third, and of course, World Cup, the 5th. So you placed first, you placed 4th, and you placed 2nd. We do this every time we have you on. What grade would you give Dallas Vibe and yourself, the program, for the 2024 season? I
think I would give myself, for the organization as a whole compared to last year, probably a B plus. I want to say an A, but I want to also be a hard critic. The reason behind one of the positive sides I would look at is when I wrote down on paper for the goals after last year winning World Cup, I wanted to be a top 4 team. I wanted to be in the series contention, which, we've kind of have been. And then, I wanted to work on the fundamentals for the girls, which, we finished top 4 in every event. We made the finals a few times, but not being able to defend the World Cup title from the previous year and not being able to snag the series title, I think kind of hurt. And it's one of those self-reflections, because you never know when you'll be able to replicate that. You would like to think you have everything in place to continue on. So when you start the next season, you can go where you just left off. But it's hard to maintain consistency.
Yeah. That's the key to all paintball, I believe, right? It's that consistent execution. And of course, you've got a different team every time you have a new layout in most instances, right? So you mentioned that you really wanted to focus on the fundamentals. Is that what you feel like between the first event, which you won, and the second event where you got 4th? Where do you think, where was the disconnect between those 2 events?
I think,
not that in my opinion, that's, top 4. I'm just in your opinion.
Mike, honestly, I think it's the layout. The way the NXL and the WNXL has kind of created these layouts, it's been phenomenal with the extra snake beams added on that allows certain moves to be made. Between the first event and World Cup, if you looked at kind of how the snake side was kind of made up, it was kind of ladder, a little simplistic. That middle event with the double snake inside, it required a little bit more finesse, a little bit more IQ in order to execute and be really efficient. And that's where we kind of lack. I have some great women players, but when you're going through how to close out games and be creative in a snake that's not so straightforward, it's hard. It's hard to try to make something that complicated so simplistic when you have people like a Rosie coming back and playing on top of Tata, one of the top snake players for the Heroines, and also playing for Team USA, who's been in the game for so long compared to some of the women that I tend to coach and try to bring up.
Right. Okay.
So I think it was more experience. I mean, we knew the shots, we knew what to do, but I think in those situations when there's panic, there's a little bit of self-doubt, right? When you're going through the motions and you're playing that event or that particular layout, there's little nuances that you don't have enough time to go through everything. And as a coach, you pray and hope that you've done everything in the prep work leading to it, and while you're at the event trying to execute certain things, that you might miss something. And we missed the punch item, and I missed the punch item.
You're giving him a round of applause.
Yeah, this is why we love having you on the show, man.
Right.
Exactly what you just said. We talk about constantly, like you can do everything right in your preparation. You can do everything right at the event, and in some instances you do get beat. You don't lose, you get beat, right? And those are the things as a coach we can live with, getting beat, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can live with the understanding that we're playing against players that may potentially have more experience, and if we get in weird situations, they're probably going to handle them better, right? And we're trying to mitigate those situations as much as possible with clock management, blowing the horn at the right time, and trying to keep us out of those uncomfortable things. But the reality is we can't get out of all of them, and we also know it's really healthy and it's a growth experience for us to be in them. So bravo, dude. Very well said.
Yeah,
It was well said.
I appreciate it. Definitely. I mean, it's been a whirlwind this season, being able to do WNXL, the 3 events on the North American circuit, then going over to Europe and representing and bringing some of the stuff that I've gotten from you guys and other coaches back over to my own home organization to help elevate the women's play and get them to be on a better level.
Outstanding. Well, you kind of already answered the last 2 questions we had. Well, maybe not both of them, but one of the questions was, we had talked about, will you have any additions this offseason? It seems like you're not necessarily up to speed on that yet.
Maybe. Sounds like.
Yeah, no.
Probably.
I mean,
sort of, kind of.
I kind of am, and I'm kind of not. When the season ends, I kind of like to disconnect a little bit and let ownership work with what they need to do, and I just kind of catch back up on house stuff and just general life stuff.
See. All right. So in that case, so you say you like to disconnect for a little bit. Is that for the entire off season? When do you usually plug back in, so to speak?
I'll probably plug back in mid-December, towards end of December, starting back into January. Not to say I'm not doing anything. I mean, I'm still watching ample footage and video. I've already rewatched and taken notes of, pro paintball on the men's side and on the women's side, and started coming up with a list of players for Anthony and Lori if they were to ever ask who we need to look at for Team USA for WNXL, depending on who decides to stay in and retire or not be able to participate. Since I tend to be around the women's stuff a lot, and I actually got to watch amateur and WNXL all season.
Valid. Absolutely valid. Yeah. So a B+ is the score for the season. You're not going to give us any juicy details, but on what's happening, but you're going to plug back in and get back to work. Not that you haven't been working, but you're really going to come get after it mid-December, early January. All right. Okay. And now, will that involve practicing with your team, bringing the ladies out and getting to work with them? Or is that just more of you taking a different approach, maybe going elsewhere and looking at things and opportunities and concepts and then bringing them back to the camp?
I think it's both. So after World Cup ended, I assigned the women homework to do, which was to rewatch the finals match, right, while it's still fresh in their mind, and list what went good, what went bad, what can we work on, and then send it to me in a written assignment. And then we kind of do that for almost every single event while it's fresh, even though, it can be a little emotional. And then as I'm watching and reading their stuff, I'm putting in small little notes on things that we can work on in the off season to be ready for 2025, whether it's conditioning, certain fundamentals, the mental aspect of the game, right? Where, if I noticed throughout the season, somebody was having a confidence issue and trying to figure out what can we do or where can we go to get help in raising that mental health and that confidence up.
Interesting. That's a good step. So this is all fantastic. This is good stuff. One real quick, by the way, did you see the question about Leslie?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, Christian, she's conveyed that she wants to return. But that's kind of where it's all kind of left off. I wish I had more insight. Sometimes I think it just adds to the enthusiasm and what can happen when Christmas time and 2025 rolls in.
Okay, last question.
Getting called out.
so you better get to practice, Adickes.
Yeah, I've been slacking on that home front, so apologies to my homeboy Jason Bonner, who's always been very helpful and supportive.
Yeah, Jason's a legend in Texas paint.
Good guy. Got to see him this weekend.
Yeah, did you shoot him?
I don't think so.
Damn.
I think they were playing in a different division.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's that time. It's where you get to really show your chops now, Rich. Right? This is where you get to show us and walk us and those watching the show through your match in the finals in the WNXL. Right? There was only 5 points total played, one of which was quite dynamic. And we'll get to that, of course. We've already hinted at it and what happened. But walk us through each point, walk through, your thought processes. Okay, this just happened. So what I'm thinking at this point, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm saying to the ladies. So this is kind of a free reign for you, man. You get to have a good time with this.
Oh, I appreciate that. That sounds like fun. But if I can, real quick, Mike and Ryan, leading up to this, right? If you looked at the brackets, Heroines were not in our bracket, right? Throughout the tournament, especially at World Cup, I can't stress this enough. As a coach, you need to have a checklist of things that you're going through in order to get you to the finals, right? So I was looking at shots off break, survivabilities of my players, obviously scouting notes, right? Where we might have hiccups in the matches or in the points where we might have struggled or gotten penalties. So these are all meticulous notes I'm taking. And I'm rewatching footage at the end of every night because World Cup is different than any other major where it's spread out over 3 to 4 days as opposed to just Friday, Saturday, and then bang straight into Sunday. So with the cast that Anthony and the other league has provided on the Premier field, it's allowed coaches like myself to be able to rewind, rewatch footage, to pick up on the nuances, look at where something broke down, to be able to send it back to the women and say, hey, we need to tighten this ship up if we want to make it onto the finals field. With that being
that was a hard P. That was a hard P, ladies and gentlemen, just for the record.
And then with that being said, Anthony alluded to it. The gap's closing. The Sirens, the San Francisco Sirens made their first ever Sunday, getting into almost like semifinals. High rollers have stepped up. Sicarios put a number of points on us in the prelims. So at the same time with my women, I was telling them we're not being truly tested like we normally would if we had the Cheetahs, the Femmes, and the Heroines in our bracket. So I need to be so much harder on you on your P's and Q's and tightening up, because we're not being tested in some aspects with other teams. So trying to simulate that in the prelims leading up into the semifinals to get to the finals.
Yeah.
Well said again. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. That's 101 right there. So let's get into it, brother. I'm going to step off. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to go mute.
Yeah. So real quick for point one, I wanted to set the tempo, and I wanted my snake player, Tahada, or AKA Angie. I wanted her to kind of play the snake one, the snake two, a little bit slow, work it through, check and see if they're going to be playing the center. But the goal was to try to see if I can have all the guns up off the break and see if I could shoot anybody. My main objective was to try to kill Tata on the snake side off of the rip or on the crawl up. We knew Danny or somebody would eventually fill that center based on the way this layout's been playing and what that center can do to stop. And then trying to get Hadley, some spins, get her comfortable, because she was one of the players that was shooting the snake runner off the rip because of her height too.
Excellent. All right.
Yeah, so you do get a kill here off the break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it either
Killed
was
the two
a kill on Jen.
behind the snake. Yep. Oh, look at that. A second out of the center too.
Yeah. So lost one, but shot two really quickly.
Yeah, the second one was the first engagement up there in the center, it looks like.
Yeah, and what the goal was always to do, once we had a body inside the snake, JC was supposed to come over towards the corner to be able to provide assistance to allow the snake player to get down, at the same time help prevent the fill gap coming from the center or the back line back over towards the snake. So we can at least either trade out with the snake player, and then JC can fill in by keeping that tangent line close.
Jen Folks in the chat saying they did not kill me off the break. I got pulled for leaving early. He's making sure we know.
Right. Well, I mean, that's important, right? And as a coach, you would want that kind of data, right? You want to understand, okay, the gun wasn't there. So
you see, I thought we shot her, right? So that goes into for us knowing certain things.
There's a little bit of a Charlie Foxtrot right there. I don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. All right. So I think we've come down to what? Is it a 2-on-2 now or 2-on-1? What are we at right now?
JC's in the corner. You have Corinne. So it should be roughly a 2-on-1.
Okay. It's a 2-on-1. Mm-hmm.
And that's why we have JC play as a backup position. She has the ability to just close that tangent line, move up. She's not afraid to get into the snake and slowly make her check off points.
Were they cross-field communicating right now? It seems like the D side might be a little hesitant.
No, when we came back and we reanalyzed this point, we talked about where she needed a better job to connect with Corinne and to stay on her feet. But she did know if she wanted to try to not get shot, she could crawl down.
The other thing here too, just for people watching, like edges and edges, right? If you're in a 2-on-1, that like this is good, right? But as soon as we go inside, she gets to move.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Right. So we need to be on the outside edges kind of the whole time. Like, hey, I got this edge, you got that edge. Right.
We're slicing
as soon as
the pie,
she goes away. Yeah, as soon as she goes away, it gives her an opportunity to move back. So yeah.
Not always applicable, right? Not always applicable depending on certain aspects, but definitely that's what you want, Ryan. You're spot on. So, and when I talk about slicing the pie, anyway, we'll worry about that later. So I won't have to.
Yeah. So. No, you're absolutely right. Being able to use the edges and still maintain pressure to not allow that backfield. It's when you don't have that communication or you haven't had that conversation the night before or prior to the match of like, hey, if it becomes this situation, outside person takes on the outside edge, inside person takes on the inside edge.
Well, my point is only, and I say it so that other coaches can understand it. Just because if that player moves, and you don't know because you're crawling in the snake and you come up shooting at the tower on the wrap and they've moved back, you get shot in the head. Now you've left the other player at a one-on-one who also doesn't know that the player has moved. So somebody's got to be on that edge where they can see if the player is going to move all the time. Right.
You hear the term stepping on their throat and then slowly strangling them. That's what is happening. So it's a constant barrage of pain on the edges. We're moving with it. We're edging. And we're just basically taking the bunker away from them slowly, so to where they don't have a bunker. So,
what's up, Krista? Yeah. All the women in the chat tonight. Love it.
Yeah. Behave, Krista.
They're all awesome, man.
She's one of my favorite players.
Yeah. All right. Point 2. So you closed out, you won the point, right? Are you quick coaching question for you right now. Are we see that they closed the point out well. We're proud of them. We're happy for them, but you saw that it could have been done a little bit more efficiently. Are you having that conversation right then, or are you moving on?
You know, honestly, in that moment, I'm moving on because I already kind of see when JC's coming off. JC's already winded and tired because she ended up going down, crawling a little bit. So in this next point, I don't think I even have JC in. I might have her, but then I ended up trying to change up the pace of play by giving them a different kind of runner because Angie ended up crawling and being a little bit tired. So this is where I could have done better on some player management of getting certain people in. If I get the opportunity, I'll mention a little bit of like, hey, we could have done it better. You could have just been on your feet. But where you are lined up at World Cup, you're only lined up at the ends. So you can't really see anything that's going on the other side.
Valid.
So it makes it a little bit hard because what I would have to do is I would have to run out all the way around to try to be on the other sideline where all the people are to see if I can even see what's going on. I'm just counting the bodies behind the net, and if I have an assistant with me, which I did have Lauren and a few other players, we're counting the bodies that are coming off and who's on, who's not on. And that's where it's really important when you get to the WNXL Pro League or even the Men's Pro League is knowing who's on the box and who you've already shot. Because our focus is to get Jen off the field because she is a playmaker.
Daniela too. She's solid.
Yeah.
So I was going to have a question here. So with this setup, did you have an audible for this?
I was just going to ask.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we do have a code word for this based on, if there's going to be two in the home with three bodies technically shifted towards Dorito Way. And because of that allows either JC or one other player on my other side to shift their guns from a heads up to a cross shot and then a blind shot over the brick to try to snag somebody's loader because they're doubled up. And then to just be on
you really want to shoot this player, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We can shoot.
If
we shoot this player, we're leaving this void, right?
Yeah. And the goal was to always still have a gun shooting for Tata because we knew they were going to send somebody either to the corner or to the snake almost every time with the change out of Tata and Danny. When you have those two type of players that can go, and they even had Nana playing the snake a few times to be able to allow fresh legs and different changes of pace.
All right, let's check it out. By the way, young Stevie is in here from New York Wrecking Crew. He's like, I texted you. He did. He sent me a nice message.
Yeah.
I responded, buddy. All right.
Thank you, Krista. All right. So there's the big dig out to the D side.
Yeah, we get shot. So kind of exactly what I was talking about with the way they're set up, right? You have the opposite, right? Where you're running one. And so you end up with the void.
Yeah.
So right, so she has the snake all to herself now. So was that two in position? So the one that went into the Aztec snake way, right, which is one of the best eyes, really one of the only eyes, not, you know, if they're quick enough to get out there to see if the snake is fed, right? So was that part of the goal? Like, okay, so we know if we lose our snake, we know we have to see this body enter. Did you have somebody on that idea that, hey, I at least have to have the eyes on that they fed that snake? So you knew the snake was hot, right?
We knew the snake was hot, and that's where we were.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt there, but it looks like a grenade went off in the Heroines back line.
Yeah, we ended up losing JC. And we lost our snake player off the break. I think on that one we had Mulaney. So yeah, Michaela ended up playing for JC on that point. The goal was for our home snake side shooter in the can was to release up to the center. They didn't do that. When I got back into the pits and we had that conversation, she was saying that there was a lot of pressure preventing her from going up.
Well, it seemed like your D side did not play as if the snake was hot.
No, we lost our Dorito player off the rip. You know, based on how they played their first point and we saw the second point, you know, we decided to try a gamble just on the Dorito side because we felt that our snake player could make the snake because they weren't really shooting anybody off the rip in their previous matches, except for when Danny would release straight up, but she had a pretty good tell. So we figured, let's try it, see what it's like.
She's owning it.
She's owning it. I got a penalty. It was on me, a minor penalty. So that was the grenade that went off in the backfield. So thank you.
Yeah, on that penalty though, I did want to say this. Like it wasn't really harmful because they owned all the space.
Right.
Like it's harmful because now you're back in a 3-on-3, but they owned all the space, right? So
yeah, you guys were on your heels at that point.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the parts of the finals. Some of them, you know, it's their first time. Well, not some of them. A lot of them have played already at World Cup in a finals. But when you're playing against the Heroines, you know, there's a certain mental aspect to it that I don't think a lot of other WNXL teams put on each other. And it's just probably because of who they are and what they've always done. You know, it's never going to be easy. You know, it's going to be a grinder. And that's why we always talk about the mental game and trying to sharpen it. And it doesn't matter who's at the other end of the box. It's just 5 other players that hopefully are going to die and you're going to go hit the buzzer.
Right.
I think there's a lot of mutual respect though.
100%.
It's the understanding. It's like, hey, we're not playing a 7th ranked team here. Like this is the other team who could potentially win the series if they win this tournament. So there has to be a high level of respect, right? It's to be cautious as a coach, not allowing that level of respect to turn to fear, right?
Yes.
Like as long as it's not, hey, we're fearful, you know, to make mistakes or to be loose, then you're okay, right? As soon as it becomes fear, now we have a different problem.
Yeah.
Again, right. I apologize for my voice. I spent the whole weekend screaming. Bonner's in here talking about how nasty the ICPL was. It was like 40 degrees and raining. So not good.
Yeah.
Had rain for like 3 weeks in Texas, but of course, Major League Paintball is bringing an event. It's going to rain.
It's going to rain. So there it is. All right. So we're tied up here. Speaking of rain.
Yeah. So in the third point here, I decided to sit Hadley because Hadley wasn't releasing up into the center. I wanted to give Paula a shot. I now have JC back in with Angie on the snake side. We shoot their snake runner off the rip. So
it's a great secondary fill, though, and it looks like we're having some hopper issues here in the back. But But it was a
Yeah.
great secondary fill. They lost the snake and they immediately took advantage. Said, "Well, I'll just take it on my." The two got in there for the Heroines.
You know, and this is where, you know, I talk to the girls, you know, especially our snake players, like, go in, look for your shots, right? Do your clockwork, go through your check off. If it's not there, try to make your next bump, take your next set of real estate.
Yeah, it looks like the Heroines are keeping that constant pressure on both sides of the field for you.
Yeah.
They are, and you're about to see Jen come up. And I love how close, you know, as I don't remember which sister this is, but as she goes up,
That's Nana.
yeah, as Nana goes up, Jen's right behind her the whole time. Like, stays really tight, really close. Just continued pressure.
Yeah. No, Danielle made a great fill out. You know, technically we still have the advantage on the snake side, right? By having a snake body and there's somebody in the snake corner. But they have the weapons to press it on both fronts, you know. Now, Angie's been looking on that inside for quite a long time. You know, we've had the conversation where, you know, you need to learn how to be a little bit more proactive.
Here's where I was talking about. So Jen comes up, gets close.
Yep.
Right. Playing deep off that bunker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little too deep.
Mm-hmm. Especially if the snake's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the one for the Heroines on the Dorito side, right? Okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
Right.
She's already pressed over into our Dorito.
Right. So she can keep the pressure up. Jen can look for hoppers. That snake presence has to be respected. So.
Yeah. And Nana at that point's basically already taken out one or two more of my bodies on the back line. Corinne was in the can shooting home Dorito way. So now it's just between Angie and MK just holding it down, which those two spots, you do have to come and dig them out. You know, they're great defensive spots, but, you know, in the time when we did have the advantage off the rip, we just didn't take it. And then having Jen and Nana come up, you know, at this point, I still kind of felt comfortable with just letting it play out just a little bit more.
Sure.
You're tied 1-1. You're just now hitting 7 minutes. I'm not panicking at this point.
And we killed Danny. So
I'm not now. It's a 23.
Yeah.
And you're just under 20. You're just under 7 minutes. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably let this roll too, because you're in good spots.
You are.
You're 1-on-1 down the snake wire.
Mm-hmm.
The person who's on the Dorito side has a giant bunker to play. I let this go too.
And I have two really good gunfires, especially Michaela, you know, who's been a finals MVP, who's been able to come in the clutch multiple times, right? So I give the power to the women in certain scenarios when we're in down body situations until they prove otherwise that they can't handle it. Then I take the power back as a coach by throwing in the towel and statistically trying to play more points, because I know I rather win more point, or I can win more points. So the rule I'm setting up for myself now, as this is breaking down, is once one of the girls dies, I'm immediately toweling. Unless we're able to get another kill and even it up to a 2v2.
Now, earlier we did see Jen. It looked like Jen was screaming across here field to let her know the situation.
Yeah.
But you can't get lost on this field.
Yeah, it was smart too, Michaela, to get out of that can and get into the snake one.
100%.
Yeah, smart.
And they're trying to work out the problem, figure out how they're going to dig it out. So if I felt like trying to run up the scores, I probably would have toweled it sooner. But when you're in those moments, it's always kind of hard to stay true to what you want to do or what you should.
1 point at World Cup is a lot. It's a big deal.
It is.
And I'm able to see, because we're out there, we're back on our home side, and I'm able to see. So the moment Michaela gets shot, I'm asking for the towel. I'm going and I'm hitting the buzzer to try to save some sort of time. So I only let 2 seconds go.
Yeah. Yeah, that buzzer didn't always work immediately, for the record. So
I had to yell a few times.
yeah.
So now the third point happened, we're getting into the fourth point, right? 2 players have obviously been on the field for quite a lot. My goal in that whole time frame is just having discussions with all the players that just died on the small little nuances that we can change up. And I'm just letting them know, listen, plenty of time on the clock. We just need one. Just pretend it's a 0-0. We've been technically winning the breakout a majority of the time. Right? So just continue to execute what we've been doing. We'll change up just the small little nuance here and there and try to press a little bit more in the snake, or we'll try to shift the body over here. But we knew that if a certain combination was on the box, what they like to do, and we were still waiting for Danny to try to press the center. But in the first 3 points, she hadn't. She's just been playing the small Aztec on the snake side, filling out to the corner and getting into the snake if and when Tata dies. So when you looked at everything statistically from the prelims to the semifinals, Danny played way more center than she did in the finals.
Okay. All right.
So you're kind of going through all your habitual habits, right? You still see Nana, you still see Jen pretty much over on the Dorito side.
You win the break again. So it's 54.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were fortunate to pick up a few new players to kind of help alleviate our primary snake player to try to manage the energy load, right? Because it's a lot of paintball throughout the weekend. And that snake is long. You might not think it, but crawling.
Oh, no, it's long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about her hitting the bunker.
Yeah,
Not
she hit the bunker.
Yeah, not the speed or the way she – and after the rain, it was so sticky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're telegraphing. That's the other thing, right? As a snake player, you don't want to telegraph what you've already done 99% of the hard work. Running to that spot off the rip, making the crawl.
I thought this was your group's best point.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
With the conversations that they were having, with the shot off the break, holding their zones, it absolutely was the best one. And sometimes it takes a point or two to really get going, unfortunately, And here
I
you
just
can
thought
see,
the setup was like, this setup is good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
With the person in the middle of the field shooting this way, that can going cross. I mean, it's just the setup is great.
And that's the setup we talked about numerous times throughout the week. When somebody gets here, their job is this. The next person comes in, takes over this job. And then if you need the help, you call for it. And you would hope as a coach that your players and your team execute this repeatedly throughout. But sometimes it just doesn't happen, right? And unfortunately, it came in 0.4, which I wish it would have been in 0.2 and 0.3.
Make sure,
Like,
right?
You sure? Are you sure? Yeah, and I love this too.
I love how
but
she
but she again hit the bunker.
hit the bunker. Exactly.
Jen doesn't know where she is.
Yep.
And it almost looked like she got caught there too.
Yeah.
Because she hit it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah,
if this
great
player's
move right
playing the
there.
outside of that bunker like that, that's fascinating to me.
Yeah. See, JC's coming up behind her to apply pressure to allow her to crawl a little bit more while putting in the Aztec where Danny's at.
I love that.
Yeah.
Her clothes weigh about 20 pounds now because of the mud. So.
Yeah.
So going into this, right, we tied up 2-2, right? If there's anybody that's won a bunch of overtime points, it's us, because we've last year prior to not ever making a Sunday, we played multiple overtimes. So we know what it's like. High pressure situation. You know, we've been in the finals. So I'm with the girls. I call the 5 and I look at them and I'm like, Brad is going to come. If I am him, we've won every single breakout primarily with an advantage. It's only when we didn't capitalize on certain things that I was just like, we lost, right? So in my mind, statistically, if I'm Brad, I'm going to come and try to win in the last 35 seconds. And I know what you're going to do. I know how you're going to do it. So I draw it up and I put the girls on specific jogs because I'm like, I'm okay with it going into overtime. If we kill 2 to 3 bodies off the rip, then that win condition, go get the buzzer, win it. Okay, because we actually, this defensive play is the same defensive play we did against the high rollers in the prelims, which the girls executed beautifully. They executed it beautifully, and they shot 3 bodies off the rip, and they went down, grabbed the point to make it a mercy win. So we were already tested with a press similar like this in prelims and in semifinals against the Femmes. It's just, can you replicate it and do the job that needs to be done?
Yeah. So when you saw this setup change, did you know the middle was coming?
We knew that the middle was coming. What we were going to do is we were going to have the one of the bunkers over on the Dorito side, I believe it was the small W, to shoot the cut on the inside.
Yep, right over the.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
So at this point, our number 4 on the thing is supposed to be shooting the cut that's going right in front of where Danny's going, right? And then the one's supposed to be shooting the other cut, so it's kind of creating the cross, while Corinne is supposed to take care of on the Dorito rundown when they're coming through. Because we still have the one snake player, and she ended up getting edged out by Danny.
Danny did that so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did that so well.
She went gun up.
Is she in here? Yeah, she's in here.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Yeah. She looked at the clock. She said, it doesn't matter at this point. I got 5 seconds to get there. Gun up. Yeah. Here we go. It's worth the launch. So.
And that's a hard thing to muster, right?
No.
But it was a good match.
Great match.
The fact that it was close, it wasn't a blowout on either side, that there were good moments, right? That's good content, and that's good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Great match.
Great match.
Great match. And congratulations to the Heroines, both your World Cup victory and your season title. That's what it should be, right? You win the World Cup, you win the season title. That's what it should look like. So
absolutely.
Congratulations. Awesome. Well played. Well
Yeah.
played.
Well done.
Hey,
Brad-
congratulations,
And
to Coach
congratulations to
McCurley.
Vibe as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was just going to say, Coach McCurley, I tried to get Brad on, just couldn't quite get it done. But yeah, Vibe, you guys had a fantastic season.
He did an awesome
you know,
job. He did an awesome job with those ladies, and they did an awesome job executing and taking care of business. And we just got beat. It just happens.
It happens. It does.
Yeah, and they had a coaching change. I know early on in the season, Nikki was coaching the Heroines, and then that kind of fell apart. And then Brad comes in a little bit later. Seems like maybe things got a little bit, cleaner, I guess. Where it seemed like the communication between Brad and the ladies was better. So seemed like it was a good fit, obviously.
Right? I mean, he had people playing where they needed to play. That's the one thing I'll say when watching how Brad coaches those girls and the lineups and the plays that they're running. There's small little nuances, but he has the right people in the right spots. And I like to believe I had the right women in the right spots for that finals, and we just couldn't muster some of the magic, man.
You didn't lose that match. They won. That's one of those, like, as a coach, they won the match, right? Like, you didn't lose it. They won. But were there maybe some discipline problems? Maybe. Yeah. Should whoever was in the snake one just stayed on the edge of that middle bunker and never stopped shooting your gun? Maybe, right? Like, but Danny did it well, right? So, like, it's just one of those, you lost that.
And I won't take anything away from Danny or the Heroines. As a coach and as an individual, I think it's just natural for somebody that cares not only about the women that I coach, the organization. I look back and you always kind of second guess some stuff, like, should I have put somebody else in? Should I have changed this up a little bit? Right. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's just human, right? But that's also a way to be better, to be able to self-critique and go through some of those things.
Usually, though, your first, it's that old rule, right? Usually my first answer is the correct one.
Yeah.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's always going to work, but usually it's the correct one. So,
yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, 2 quick questions, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah.
Where do you think Vibe finishes in 2025?
I think in 2025, Vibe finishes in the top 2 spots, top 3, bare minimum.
So you get no better.
Yeah, right. No. I think it's either top 2. Hopefully finishes first. The goal is to win a series title.
Sure.
And to maybe try to do something that's never been done in WNXL. And that's to win all 3 events.
There you go.
There you go.
Because you kind of got to look like, we won the first one. Second one, we kind of fell off. Third one, we're right there. Depending on the landscape and how the women work, I don't see why it can't be done. But, that's what's going to go on paper.
That seems to be the paintball fit thing, right? Just set records.
Yeah.
Just set records.
Right.
Well, they set the bar pretty high, man.
That's pretty good. Sell records.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's, I just hope that whatever I'm doing helps promote other coaches to want to take part, be a part of the WNXL, grow the sport, grow the women, and help the women grow not only on the field but off the field.
What's your favorite drill?
My favorite drill?
Yep.
I don't know what it's called, what the real term is, but it's almost like a side-to-side T drill where I have 2 to 3 bunkers and 3 different targets at different heights and different depths that you have to snap out of left, right side. And then there's a transition phase where you have to stay on the target, and you're doing it between 3 different bunkers. So like small Aztec, Dorito, and a can. So if you're able to work those 3 bunkers and learn how to come out with your first ball while maintaining a stream going across and not bouncing up and down, that's my number 1 favorite drill. But when I have to deal with the women, I do like the boxing one on a small Aztec, just with an entire hopper, just doing like an X drill, going from high, low, and slow and consistent for about 3 minutes straight. So your arms are just burning. and then you make them
Mike,
do
are,
tournaments.
Mike, are you getting news?
I'm getting lots of news. Yeah, it's blowing up. I got the news. So here it is.
What is it?
Nice.
So Major League Paintball just reached out. They are announcing what appears to be the new coach of San Diego Dynasty. And so we're announcing that here on the coaches show. I took a position with San Diego Dynasty, and I will be joining the Dragon for 2025.
Hey,
So,
Nice.
yeah. So
congratulations, Mike.
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Coach.
Yeah, thank
Well
you.
deserved.
So, thank you, MLPB. I've already spoken with the New Orleans Hurricanes. I've spoken to them all personally, and I love them very much. So I wanted to take a moment publicly to leave them with an Irish prayer. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be forever at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and the rain fall softly on your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in his hand. So I love those guys very much. I'm very excited about these new opportunities, this excitement. I'm shaking right now, the fact that I'm actually coming out and doing this publicly. So to my new teammates on San Diego Dynasty, gentlemen, optimism. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. And you guys have it in spades. So the difference between successful and unsuccessful people is your desire to reach your potential. You've already shown everyone how to do it. So how about showing them again? Success is never on discount. Greatness is never on sale. Greatness is never half off. It's all or nothing, boys. It's all day, every day. Let's go. DYNNST. Why?
Why?
Love it.
Congratulations, pal.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much. No, I'm excited about the future, and I can't thank the Dynasty Camp enough. They've been absolutely incredible, incredibly welcoming gentlemen, and I love them on a yay. Hey, Ryan. Ryan's in the chat. What's up, brother? So, oh my goodness. So thank you, everyone. My phone is going stupid now. It's just blowing up. That is crazy.
Yeah.
It's a beep, 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 beep. So on that
I think
note,
it's a great fit.
probably,
Yeah.
Great fit.
Awesome. Awesome
Great
fit.
fit.
Great opportunity for you. And hey, you look good in blue.
Everyone's just calling now. This is so funny. Everyone's calling. I'm getting
Yeah.
matter of fact,
Hey, you guys need to stop calling him until we're done.
Yeah,
we'll
right.
be done in 5 minutes. Give
Yeah.
us 5 minutes.
but no, seriously, thank you to all the guys on the Canes, and thank you once again. And I'm really excited and looking forward to the great work with the Dynasty Camp. I can't wait. Those guys, I can't wait to learn, right? I can't wait to get in there and just share and learn from these guys. My phone is about to blow up. I'm moving it away from me. So,
Well, I'm
Right.
incredibly happy for you. Very proud of you. We've been on this journey together for a few years now, and I kind of told you right off the bat, like you're made for greatness, and I think this is maybe a realizable thing with this group. I thought it was with the Hurricanes too. I think you were great there. This is a great opportunity for you to take a legendary franchise and continue to build on the legacy that you already have a foundation for. I think it's fantastic. Good for you.
thank you. God bless you, and God bless everybody for the support and the belief. And I'm really excited about this new challenge. It's going to be a tremendous challenge, and I know those guys are up for it. And I'm excited. I'm ready to roll.
And it's cool to be able to go into a dynasty that right now is where everybody thinks that they're crumbling and they're falling apart, because those guys with a chip on their shoulder is not a good thing
That's
for the
dangerous.
rest of the league, right?
I
It's not a good thing.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Very dangerous, right? That group with something to prove, which again is a group that really has nothing to prove, but feeling like they have something to prove. Yikes.
Yeah. I think,
Awesome.
there was, I won't say who it was, but during one of my conversations with several of the different team members, one thing that got me was an attitude. There was this attitude that this is where we want to be. We want people to think we're that way. We want people to think we're done. We're not done. We're just getting started. It's just a new era, and it's just going to look a little different. That's all.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked. I'm stoked.
Well, Rich, we'll let you go, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, no, thank you both so much for having me. I just want to say thank you to Paintball Fit, JD, Sarah, Johnny, Luke Howes for the opportunity, Dallas Vibe for allowing me to be a part of such a great team and to continue to be a part of a group of fabulous women's, and Anthony and Lori for Team USA. Hopefully I get to see them again. So congratulations, Coach, both of you. Have a great year, great holiday, and see you in 2025.
See you, buddy.
Thank you, buddy. Hey, he did really well,
Wow.
man. He's coaching. He's good. He's good.
What a fun show.
Right.
A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Very
So,
cool.
Excellent.
All right.
Well,
you folks,
we got to
in the
go.
chat, you got good news to share with people. It's a lot of exciting things happening. So tomorrow night, I'm sure they'll talk about it on Spick and Span, so you can join them, I believe, at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on their YouTube channel. So I'm sure Ryan will have a lot to talk about. Maybe invite Mike on. So
listen, I'm going to let him do his thing, man. But because the Spick and Span show, all of them, everything about this organization. And if you get me starting again, I'll talk about it. Junior Brown has been incredibly gracious and fantastic. I'm looking forward to working with him. Yosh, Ryan, Blake, Danny, all of you guys, man, I'm stoked about it. I can't wait to see all of you and get started. So I'll shut up. I'm about to get all fired up, man. Oof.
You should be fired up.
Yeah.
Should be fired up. Cool opportunity. And again, I think they picked the right guy. Do you remember Tuesday after World Cup? What did I tell you?
You did.
What did I tell you? Tuesday after World Cup. I said,
you did.
Did you get the call yet? And you were like, from who? And I said, Dynasty. I just have a feeling.
Yeah.
I
told you you were what? You were on crack or you were high or something. What did I say?
Yeah. Yeah. I had a premonition. And I'm glad that it worked out the way it did. I'm incredibly proud of you and excited for you. It's going to be an amazing year.
Yeah.
Like the league again is still in a really healthy condition. I mean, we'll see what, kind of the new teams coming in will bring. We know the Tauntaun group will be good. There's been a lot of chaos occurring, but the reality of the moving bodies is that all the teams are still really good. So
yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
They really are.
A lot of fun.
And congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, once again to Ryan Gray, part of the coaching staff of Red Legion. So 2 big drops here on the coaches show on December 9th, 2024. So pretty cool. So.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Coaches Show. Thank you to Coach Rich Adickes and Anthony Vitale for joining us tonight. To Major League Paintball for all the support of the show, Darren Cessna, Alex Sorensen, Kevin Fillers, and Tom Cole. Thank you to Major League Paintball Plus for use of the video. If you want to improve your game, possibly play for Team USA, get the best knowledge in paintball at bkipaintball.com. Check out the Combines and the summer camp. To sign up for the Combine or the Combine Coaches Clinic, you can look below if you're on YouTube, look up if you are on Facebook. Those links are right there in the description. If you're looking for a new gear sponsor for 2025, you play any league, check with them and see if they are a maxed sponsored league, which means if you're wearing his stuff and you place in the event, he'll help pay some of your paint bill. So check out maxsportswear.com. Get true custom work for all your soft goods, including jerseys, pants, tech tees, hats, etc. Next week, we are going to pick a game to break down. So it'll probably just be Mike and I, and we're going to do a full game breakdown. So let us know, throw some stuff in the comments about a game you'd like to see us break down from any time in the 2024 season. I've got a couple of matches in mind, but we would love to hear from you. If you have a game you'd like, get it in there by Thursday latest, and we will try to pick one that you want us to break down. Congratulations again to Team Heroines on your World Cup and series victories, and as well to Team Vibe. With Mike Bianca, I'm Ryan Gray. As always, be responsible.